my baby.
Across East Tennessee, true volunteers are working to change lives. Over the next 2 weeks, we'd like to highlight some of the good work and talk about the organizations helping to make this happen. One in particular, the United Way. Here to talk a little bit more about that group you're seeing there, Claudia Caballero from Centro Hispano. Great to see you. And you just said, those are my babies. Let's talk about what you do on a daily basis.
Yeah, so my organization, Centro Hispano, is here to help our community thrive, the Latino community thrive culturally, educationally, and economically. So that means we want especially our young people to embrace their language, their heritage, to understand that that's an asset for them moving forward into the professional world. We work with adults in workforce development, so we teach English, we do computer classes, digital literacy. We partner with many community organizations. And the third component is connecting the Latino community through community resources. And so we do that every single day of the year. We serve over 2,500 people every year in our programs, and we've been around for 14 years.
And this is supported in large part as well by the United Way, an umbrella organization that touches tens of thousands of lives. What does the United Way do that helps you?
We couldn't do our work without the United Way. They originally started funding our after-school programs and our youth and family engagement programs. I would say that apart from leveraging funds that we couldn't bring together the way they do, they also help us partner with other organizations in the community so that we do not repeat services other people are already doing, but we partner. And so those are probably two of the most important things that that they do. They also create a sense of community and bringing people together towards the same causes. So they reduce silos in the organizations across the community, I would say.
And that brings you together with some partners that may help you in one way or another.
Oh, absolutely. We have organizations. We work together with organizations that do after-school programming. We're starting to work more with organizations that do workforce development. Many of them have much more experience than we do in these areas. However, they don't have the experience we do with the Latino community. So we partner those different expertise, and we create better programs for the community.
Are there some stereotypes about the Latino community that you also work to really change in people's minds through your work?
Absolutely. So I like saying that I'm Honduran American. I was born in Honduras, and I like saying that every single day I work to dismantle the stereotypes, negative and positive, that exist around the Latino community in East Tennessee. More and more you'll see high professionals, executive positions, people coming from different countries or different parts of the country with a lot of experience. And more and more we're seeing those professionals wanting to connect and integrate into Knoxville. So we work really hard as well with that component. We have some happy hours where we usually have about 100 people coming together around Latino issues, getting to know each other, getting to know where they can fit into Knoxville. But definitely the stereotypes that we would see originally with the workforce are very different and very changing now. 10% of Knox County schools are now Latino, so part of our work, or much of our work, is how are we preparing this youth for the future in Knoxville? So yes, we work with it all the time.
Well, thank you for your work, Claudia. Great to chat with you about your organization and the impact of the United Way. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Coming up, we're going to